Good afternoon, traders and investors. It's Will here with another one, recording this for a second time because unfortunately my microphone was muted. So apologies for that, guys. I hope everybody's doing well. Hope you guys had a great day trading. And the bulls showed up in a meaningful fashion today. Not that big of a percentage gain, although 1% is nothing to shy away at. 0.95 on the SPY, 1.16 on the QQQ. But finally, what did we get? We got broad market participation, guys, which is what I've been asking the market to do now for a couple weeks in a row, right? Not only our major tech names of all these big players, right? We really had a broad market rally, and you love to see it, especially that I was calling for healthcare and financials to help participate in the rally, which is now what they've finally done, potentially seeing some local bottoms in those two industries respectively. And we had some decent participation also from our consumer segments, which have been beaten down fairly recently, right? The only negative sector on the day, utilities, but it does represent a small component. So let's get into some charts. Now, as we can see, guys, on SPY, like we were saying yesterday, we were expecting a daily higher low. In my opinion, the daily higher low is now set. It will be set at, ooh, that's a bit of a mistake. It'll be set, sorry about that, guys. It'll be set around 416-ish, right? This guy right here is going to be the daily higher low, in my opinion, grinding with this 12 EMA. And if you look on the weekly, guys, on the weekly, I am expecting the follow-up move to come in to this level. So roughly around 430 is my next target on this. As you can see, the weekly trend is now well confirmed, well in motion now. We are not really overbought on any of our short-term or medium-term indicators here, which is what leads me to believe, that we do have some space coming into the 430 area. But we will need support from XLF and XLV if we do want to pull up there, because QQQ is slightly extended. So I'm looking for the bulls to continue grinding higher. The 12 EMA at this point, in my opinion, will be our guide. So just looking for the continuation of this trend. QQQ on the daily, same thing, right? I was looking at for the daily higher low compared to our low down here, which was obviously going to happen, right? We were just looking for a daily higher low. And I would argue that it might potentially be set already. So the bulls did a great job of stopping this move as quickly as possible, maintaining the momentum to the higher side of this range. So there's only two possible scenarios that can play out. Either this is indeed the daily higher low at roughly 346.77, or we may just wait around here and accumulate in a potential range, or this may be a weekly bull flag potential, right? But what I'm looking for, targets to the upside, since we don't have much resistance anymore, I'm looking for anywhere between 362 and 370, this whole supply zone here, to be my next area that the bulls are going to target. We are fairly extended now on the weekly from the 12 EMA. You guys can see the RSI is overbought as well, which is why I say, guys, if you want this market to keep grinding higher, I have no objection for tech to keep grinding higher as well. But if you want SPY to come higher and you want tech to take a breather, then these sectors need to play some catch up, right? If you want to give QQQ some time to cool off and some time for the moving averages to catch up, especially on the weekly, right? Well, you're going to need some participation from XLF and XLV. So let's look into that right away. But anything pretty much over 346.60 is the daily higher low at this point. Looking for upside continuation. If we lose this level, then like I said, just going to be looking for some weekly consolidation. XLF finally have a very nice bullish day here on XLF. So what we were looking for, guys, is we were looking for the reversal of the downtrend. What I need to see bulls do at this point is I need for them to push potentially above our moving averages here and then come and sit making a higher low somewhere around here compared to this previous low, which will give us a good opportunity to set a daily uptrend in motion. That is what I want to see from the bulls. I need them to set a daily uptrend. They did a great job of holding my line in the sand level, which is this purple line. Did not want to see them fall below. So if they can conclude that, for the next month, guys, I am targeting the high of this range, roughly 33 and a half, right? I'm targeting this. If we can get a good daily uptrend in motion, something like this, then on the weekly, that's what I'm going to be targeting. I'm going to be targeting the higher end of this range, creating enough space so that then potentially we can get a weekly uptrend going, which is something we haven't really had since this one right here, right? So really paying attention to it. At this point, it's kind of curling up. So you really want to see that breakout, retest, and further breakout, right? Which could take, which is why I say it takes about a month, especially since financials do tend to move slow. But that is the pattern that I'm looking to play out on XLF. My favorite name in the space, of course, you guys may know if you're watching the video so far, is Charles Schwab. I feel that Charles Schwab got the most unfair hit from this whole banking sector thing. It is still down 45% from all-time highs. This company is a very, very, very solid company in terms of the free cash flow that they generate. They pay a dividend, as do most financials. They have a very decent price to earnings ratio. If you compare it with one of our market leaders like JP Morgan is also around 10. So Schwab trading slightly above that, right? So they make huge margins, guys, and that is largely due to the fact that they own a good part of the TD Ameritrade business, and also they have the Charles Schwab brokerage business as well, which is why they're able to generate so much profits compared to normal financial institutions. If you want to compare them with JP Morgan, let's say, JP Morgan generating last year around 24%, you could see their profit margins are roughly always in the 20% range. And we have Charles Schwab here coming in pretty much just as to expectations, slightly higher though, more in the 30% range. That extra brokerage business really does pay off for them. So in my opinion, this is a very, very decent play. I've been writing puts now for the past 4 or 5 weeks, I believe. Every single week, I have put positions in the $50 range or below, depending on price action. And if I get assigned, I do not mind holding. I am looking for the mean reversion trade here eventually. I want to come back and tag this 200 weekly moving average, which now sits roughly in the 60s. And thereafter, what I'm looking for, guys, I'm looking for the monthly retest of our moving averages up here. Obviously, at this point, with such a move down, we're looking for a monthly higher, lower high. So a lower high compared to here, but you want to see the bulls create enough space if they want to then stop this potentially monthly downtrend in its tracks and reset the things. Obviously, that's a longer term pattern, but just to give you guys an idea of what I'm looking out for to the medium and long term and why I do not mind owning shares of Schwab. Now, XLV Healthcare performing very, very, very well on the day. Now we've had a second bullish day, the two arguably most bullish days since all the way back in April, roughly a month ago. So this is really, really good. Playing off this whole support zone area, guys, which we did call out in our previous videos. So what you want to see the healthcare bulls do is continue their grind up. At this point, most likely scenario for me will just be a lower high compared to our previous high, right? And potentially devolving into a tightening range, but that's okay. As long as we can maintain somewhat bullish pressure on this, it will be fairly bullish for the medium to long term, in my opinion. On the monthly, like we saw yesterday, guys, healthcare is really not down that much, guys, from, all-time highs, right? Only 10%, holding the 26 moving average. We are still just in a uptrend and monthly consolidation at this point now for the better part of the last 2 years. So you love to see when bulls make a very, very big push up and hold the higher end of this range, right? If you were to put a Fibonacci on this, right, from the bottom of COVID all the way up here, they've barely at any point ever given back around 35% of the move. Very, very bullish for continuation, guys. Don't forget, healthcare is a very defensive sector. It usually performs well if indeed we do get into a recession, and if not, performs well as long as the economy performs well as well. So it's kind of a win-win. Does tend to move slower, but when it does move, guys, it does put in some big moves. So what I'm looking for here, I'm looking for the bulls on the daily to create enough space so that the next likely scenario just becomes that we potentially set a daily uptrend. If the move tops out here, we're looking for the bulls not to give too much back and then set that nice daily uptrend in motion so we can establish this as our local bottom. If potentially we want to be writing some options, I would be now writing options down in this area right here. IWM Russell having a very, very decent day, guys, right? So bottom to top, Russell today, another 1.8% day. Obviously less than this on the close and whatnot, but bottom to top, I like to look at a lot, guys, because it goes to show you how much momentum we have. Now, most important chart for me, guys, at this point is the 4-hour trend. Need to see a 4-hour uptrend set. So bulls have created a lot of space. Compared to this drop, we've taken down now a lot, right? So a lot of space to just set a small higher low here, right? Compared to this low here, and then to set a 4-hour uptrend in motion. If we get that, we can then be looking to target the higher end of this really annoying range at this point, right? I'm targeting the higher end of this range. And congratulations to anybody who actually was writing options with me down in this area this week. Very profitable as per usual, guys. You can see this has been my zone for the last 2 months at this point. Have not moved this off the chart. You can go back and watch the videos. Every time it gets close, I try to write options anywhere between 169 and 164 because it is such a strong area. Look how many times this has acted as resistance in the past, and now it's acting as support, right? For the last almost year at this point. Very strong level, but one thing at a time. Bulls targeting this area need to see the 4-hour trend change happen, right? 4-hour trend change happen. And then you need the daily bulls to create enough space to where they can then set a higher low and then potentially break it. That's what I was looking for here. But you see, they came down too far and couldn't do it, right? I need them to come all the way up here, pull back slightly, and then break it hard, okay? Dow Jones doing a great job of potentially solidifying this as a weekly bull flag. Since we got a lot of support from the rest of our names, right, especially consumer stocks and whatnot, we had a that's my channel. We had a very good day today on the Dow Jones. So what we're looking for, as I was saying yesterday, created enough space so that we're just looking for the higher low compared to our low down here. And now the bulls have reacted in a nice way. If we do continue to break to the upside, I will argue that this will be a confirmed daily uptrend at that point, and you need to see the bulls really put in some good work thereafter, because after that, we're going to be looking for the weekly resumption of our weekly uptrend, right? So that's what I'm looking for the Dow Jones. Love these candle formations. It goes to show that the bulls are buying dips and putting a lot of buying pressure whenever we do come down. So looking at this closely, guys, we need to get above 33,200 in my opinion to really solidify this as a new daily uptrend. We have not had a daily uptrend since all the way back here, right? Which is roughly a month and a half ago at this point. Now, Bitcoin. What can I say? I was loving it here. I wasn't loving it yesterday, and I'm loving it even less today, right? They have taken back too much of the move. This is what happens, guys, when you take back too much of a bullish move up, right? So upswing up, and now you can see they've taken down over 75% as of today, right? They pulled back a little bit, and they are going to close it probably above the 618. The 618, guys, a lot of people in fibs talk about the 618. All you have to remember is it's really the last line of defense for whichever direction you're looking in. So this is obviously a bullish Fibonacci retracement. So the 618 level is the last line of defense for the bulls if you want to say that bullish momentum remains intact. So in my opinion, Bitcoin over the next few days is absolutely crucial. If it fails and comes below, guys, then the most likely scenario for me becomes a lower high compared to this high up here, and potentially either accumulation or just a flat rollover down to our 25 level. So I do not want to see that. Either of those occasions would be bearish for me. What I really need to see is I need to see bulls put in some good work, solidify this as a new daily uptrend, right? And then only then can we look at the higher levels. But until we can't confirm one daily uptrend, we haven't been able to confirm a daily uptrend, guys, since pretty much back here, right? This failed daily uptrend rollover, right? So we haven't been able to confirm one in pretty much almost 2 months at this point. Arguably frustrating for Bitcoin bulls, but in the grand scheme of things, guys, this is still just weekly accumulation. I know it's frustrating because you're used to crypto moving a lot, but at least we are not flushing. The one thing that worries me with crypto, however, is the fact that there's a lot of bullish risk on assets and stocks that are doing really well, and Bitcoin and crypto is doing absolutely nothing. So that's not typically something you want to see. If you do see risk on back in the market, especially when we have a great big bullish day, broad market participation, you do not want to see crypto do absolutely nothing like this. It's kind of bearish in my opinion, but this is still a good area to be accumulating small amounts, right? Just accumulate small amounts, and eventually, in my opinion, we will get that follow through push over the course of this summer, right? Okay. Gonna do a big tech quick rundown. Let me get a sip of coffee, guys. Beautiful day in Canada today as well. Very, very hot. Okay. So Apple, absolute monster. Okay. Absolute monster. I was expecting, to be frank with you, I was expecting them to set a daily higher low a bit lower. But like I was saying in yesterday's video, they didn't even want to give up the 4-hour trend, right? Did not want to give it up, grinding this 12. So when I saw that, it's like a conflicting information. You see the candle formations, you expect there to be some daily consolidation further. But when you zoom in and you go on the lower time frames, you can just see that this is literally like previous resistance, holding a support, grinding the 12 EMA. So it really does not surprise me what Apple did today. Apple is now on its way to all-time highs, in my opinion. The last thing in its way is our last level here up at 183.50. Very, very bullish across all time frames. I showed you guys the monthly yesterday. If you didn't see my monthly chart updates yesterday, maybe go back and watch that video. Monthly continuation is inbound. Weekly continuation, the bulls are in full control of absolutely everything at this point. So the daily higher low at this point looks to me, well, it's not even consolidation because it hasn't even really made lower lows on the day, right? So this is still one daily move. So eventually when this move does top out, we'll be looking for daily consolidation, but no signs of that yet. Congratulations to Apple bulls, looking up to all-time highs at this point, right? Amazon also putting in the work. Love this daily this weekly candle, how it's looking. So let's look on the daily. Daily higher low at this point for Amazon is set 119.37, right? Anything above that, in my opinion, will just be, a daily higher low, even though we've just started this new daily push. So daily bulls are in full control, a bit extended here from the moving average. Also on the MACD here, on the RSI, a bit extended. But Amazon, next level for me, like I was saying yesterday, is falling between the 130 to 135 supply zone here. So that is the most likely area, in my opinion, that we do get some resistance for potentially a weekly consolidation move, right? But until then, it is looking very, very bullish, in my opinion. Take it day by day, guys, and really watch your higher lows. That is the key. If you want to know whether weekly consolidation is coming, you're going to need to lose the daily higher lows first. You can't really expect weekly consolidation if you're still making daily higher lows, right? So very, very good on Amazon. Congratulations, bulls. Google doing a great job of consolidating sideways. I like this. So what they're doing, Google, by consolidating sideways, you see, they're allowing the moving average, short-term daily moving averages to catch up at this point. MACD looks like it wants to roll over, but I mean, weirder things have happened, right? Back here, you can see it wanted to roll over, but kept going. This was this move right here. So very, very good price action, in my opinion. This target zone is the target zone that I said that I think that Google would have a very hard time breaking down below because of how long it was previous resistance. Now it's support. So the bulls have a lot working for them now at this point. So if we do pull back further on Google, I will be writing puts in this area. Like I was saying in my previous videos, still have not wrote puts on Google. I do still have Google shares in my long-term portfolio though, so really, really happy about those. But it's possible that we may need further weekly consolidation, let the moving averages catch up. And if we don't, if for some reason we just accumulate here and then get another daily breakout, well, you are looking at this point for Google, since there's not much resistance above, right? You're now looking at this supply zone here, which is crazy to me, right? 140 to 145 is the next target area on Google. As you can see, during this drop, there wasn't many areas. It kind of dropped fast and hard. We're dealing currently with this, like if I draw a big line here, right? We are currently dealing with our previous support. This is now old, right? A year and something old resistance. So we're dealing with that, but over and above that, right? It really starts to become like, if we smash through this, we're going to smash through the 130 area and we're going right up to about 140, right? So very, very nice price action on Google. I like the consolidation here. Congratulations to the bulls. We are in full control. And look at this monthly chart. Monthly upswing is still healthy. So that's what I'm looking out for on Google. Microsoft, very good job by Microsoft as well. You could argue that now with today's move off the lows of today, right, it's very, very possible that 325 is going to be your daily higher low for further bullish continuation. On the weekly chart, we are now eyeing our all-time high ranges from 340-ish, right? 340-ish all the way through the all-time high, 348. This whole resistance area is going to be the one that the bulls could potentially struggle with. So that's what I'm looking out for on the weekly. Extended from the moving averages, like some of our other big tech names, extended on the weekly RSI. This is why I say, guys, okay, if QQQ, which is just as extended off of its averages, if QQQ has to kind of pull back here and make a weekly bull flag, I will be bullish only on the SPY, only if XLV and XLF can catch up. SPY has a lot of room that it can move up or continue to grind higher. If QQQ were to consolidate, we need XLF, which has a lot of space, and XLV, which has a lot of space, and also consumer discretionaries, right? There are consumer discretionary sectors have a lot of space. There's a lot of other sectors that have a lot of space to run if QQQ does take a breather. So look out for that. If tech starts to fall, does not mean the market has to come apart, but daily higher low is set on Microsoft, and we're just looking pretty much for the break of our previous resistance zone, 336, right? Daily bulls in full control, weekly bulls in full control. So really watch out on the 4-hour time frame. How far the bulls can actually keep pushing this. Seems as though they've now started to reverse this 4-hour time frame to bullish. Now, looking at Meta as well. Very, very big day on Meta, right? Another 52-week high. We are now well within this gap fill territory here, right? So next area of resistance here is going to be, well, 292 is the bottom area here, right? But I would argue that really the gap will be filled at this point by Meta. How quickly, I don't know, but we are targeting our anywhere from I would say, okay, let's get this. Let's stop guesstimating, right? So I would really say between about 295 and 320. This whole area here is our next area of resistance where our weekly and daily bulls could end up struggling, right? And potentially setting up for some rollover here. So that is what I'm looking out for on Meta. Extended on the RSI. We are a bit extended away from our moving averages, but as you can see, guys, the daily higher low now is set. I would put that at yesterday's close, 258, right? 258.50 roughly is going to be our daily higher low. Daily bull trend is still intact. Weekly bull trend is still intact as well. When you're looking, if you want to see when all these tech names are going to lose, you need to see the daily higher lows being lost and setting up a daily downtrend. Only when you have the daily downtrend potential will you get the weekly consolidation. Until then, bulls remain in absolute full control. NVIDIA, good day, right? NVIDIA, what is NVIDIA trying to do? You could fill in a candle here, right? If I put in a candle here, what is it trying to do? It's trying to set daily higher lows, just as all our other names. So if bulls do put in a good name, if we do come up higher to the higher end of this range, I will view now that this area will be the daily higher low area, right? So yesterday, 377.82, in my opinion, will be your new daily higher low. At this point, right, there's no price action in history, so you really have to be watching it day by day, okay? Day by day, watch what happens. Do we continue to tighten up here and wait for the moving averages to kind of catch up? Or do we potentially roll over, right, and set a daily downtrend, which would be our first weekly consolidation in a while? Really, really important to see what the daily bulls do, because at this point, consolidation is due. But NVIDIA bulls, I mean, doing a great job of holding up here at the higher levels, guys. Watch the 4-hour time frame, okay? Watch the 4-hour time frame. If we're not able to confirm, this is potentially setting up for a head and shoulders. But if the bulls don't allow this to happen, right, could just be something like this tomorrow. But absolutely watch this, because we are potentially about to lose the 4-hour uptrend. If we lose the 4-hour uptrend, it's very possible we lose the daily as well. And at that point, just looking for weekly, daily and weekly consolidation, guys. But I mean, geez, the bulls are in full control of this chart. I'm not personally buying up here, but the bulls are in full control still, right? Now, Tesla. Thank you, Tesla bulls, for actually following through and coming exactly to the levels that we were predicting on the channel. So congratulations to everybody who was writing options with me all the way down through this area, collecting a bunch of premium. Congratulations to everybody who also bought shares. I was assigned shares and I've been able to ride those shares up. Was not getting too greedy on the covered calls, guys, because I know that when Tesla sets up a daily trend change, right, then you really have to look out carefully because you know this thing is going to move. So daily trend is in motion, right? At this point, anything in my opinion above 195 will just be a new daily high or low, right, for further continuation of the upside. The chart for me at this point becomes the weekly. I really would love to see the weekly bulls smash all these resistances. I think that this is the time they're actually going to do it. When they do it, I think we will stop out roughly in the 230 to 240 area before potentially coming back, sitting on our previous resistance, and then setting a new weekly uptrend. This would be very, very good, okay, for the weekly bulls because we have not confirmed a weekly uptrend pretty much since the start of this move, the start of this reversal actually happened. Time frame for me, guys, the monthly, like I was showing yesterday, right? This is going to be your monthly trend change. If it does play out, pay very close attention to that, okay? RSI is crossing. The MACD is also curling now to the bullish. It wants to curl to the bullish side, so we're going to give it some time, let it play out. But as long as the bulls keep in full control, anything above 195 is a higher low. We're now above our 200-day moving averages, which is this green line. I need to move this support zone up, but for now, I just leave it there for intents and purposes. That is the move that I'm looking for on Tesla. I'm looking for a push into the 230 area, then potentially come sit on this resistance, confirm the weekly uptrend, and push higher. At that point, the monthly will be in line, the weekly will be in line, and I'll be able to bet a bit more heavy here on a trade coming back into this area of resistance. So that is what I'm looking out for on Tesla. Congratulations to the bulls. PayPal. Doing a good job today, guys. Doing a good job, not gonna lie, right? Not as much as I would have liked to seen, but you can't deny at this point that this is a confirmed 4-hour uptrend at this point. Not the strongest uptrend, but it is a 4-hour uptrend. What we're gonna need from PayPal, in my opinion, is we're gonna need some, like, at least we're gonna need like a 4, 5, 6% day, right? A really big candle to really give us the impression that we're beyond this whole point. Until we pass roughly, until we pass, it's this level for me, right? It's this level for me. I'll show you why, right? On the 4-hour, it gets dicey, okay? I really need to pass this 64 area in a convincing fashion and then sit on it and really confirm potentially a big daily upswing for me on PayPal. But so far, so good. We're still in an hourly uptrend. Bulls are kind of grinding higher. So we're going to look, the key time frame for me, guys, remains the 4-hour, right? Okay. Need to see the 4-hour bulls continue in to put in some good work, hold this, and then we're going to be looking for this daily bounce to get as much space as possible so that the next time we do retrace, you want to see a higher low compared to our previous low, and then potentially a push up to the higher levels, which in the weekly time frame, I was showing this is how you analyze the time frame, guys. On the weekly, the bears are in control. So on the weekly, you're just looking for a lower high compared to our previous high. But the higher that the bulls can push up into it, then the most likely scenario becomes you set a weekly higher low and then reverse the weekly downtrend, okay? So you need to see the bulls push as high as possible before topping out on the weekly. So that's what I'm looking out for. This pattern to reverse a weekly pattern, guys, takes weeks, sometimes months. So it's not fast, but at least I want to show you what I am looking out for on this name. PLTR, okay? PLTR consolidating, right? Set a very bullish day, set a new 52-week high, 1522, but now gave it all back in the end of the day. However, on the 4-hour, right? 4-hour bulls are still putting in higher lows pretty much every single time, right? But as you can see, towards the end of the day, we did get a pretty engulfing candle. So at this point, 4-hour 12 EMA is my guide. If for some reason we lose it and roll over, I will be looking at this point for daily consolidation. For me, I would like to see potentially them come back a bit more into the 13.5 area. It would make a lot of sense on the weekly if we were to consolidate on the weekly towards the 13s, right? For me, I want to be writing now below 12. If I can start writing options below 12, that would be very good. I don't feel that there's a big risk of being assigned in the short term, but if we do get some extended consolidation for quite some time, or a very violent one, there may be one, but this is one of my favorite plays for the next 6 to 12 months. So when we do get the weekly high or low, I'm looking to increase my position size because I have a decent amount of shares from down here, looking to increase my position size because I do believe, guys, that we are eventually going higher on the monthly as well. But my profit target medium to long term here, 6 to 12 months, will be the $18 to $20 range, in my opinion, on PLTR. So tomorrow I'll be putting together a big video. I want to talk about, okay, you guys have known that I'm a big fan of Nike, right? Been writing some Nike options this week. Nike seems to can't catch a break, but it did catch a break after hours with Lululemon putting in a really good day. So you can see Lululemon was kind of plagued just as Nike was, but what did Lulu do? They came down and they filled their previous earnings gap, all right? That's exactly what Nike's been doing. This is the previous earnings gap on Nike that needed to be filled. They filled it now almost to the penny, all right? To the penny, they have filled it, as you can see, right? And now Lulu got really good earnings, really good earnings after hours. You can see back up to 372 in this area here. So I'm looking for a reversal on Nike from this point in time. Been writing some options, been writing the 105s, the 103s. Let's see if we do get assigned. I was a bit aggressive on them, guys, because I don't mind owning Nike, and I do want to increase my position in Nike shares for the long-term portfolio. But if you want to be a bit more conservative for next week, you can even go 100 and below. There's probably some good premium there. Suffice it to say, they're about to pay a dividend, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow they're about to pay the dividend. Nice. So Nike very overextended on the RSI here. On the daily RSI, you love to see it on Nike. Weekly, not so much, but as you can see, really hard pullback on Nike here. I am expecting some form of mean reversion at this point to the weekly moving averages and also to the daily moving averages. So expecting some decent recovery on Nike, but keep in mind, after such a big move down, you are just looking for a weekly high or low. Right, a weekly lower high compared to this high here. And then your best hope is that the bulls don't give it all back and then reverse the trend, right? So that's kind of what I'm looking for. These things take time, guys, but just looking to accumulate shares in Nike as close to or below $100 as I can. Because as you can see, guys, this price, if you didn't really snipe it back here last year, right, you would have to go back to 2020, COVID 2020, which at this point, it's hard to believe, guys, but it is 3 years, right? So you either got a really good opportunity from September through November of last year here, or had to pick the bottoms on it a few times. But keep in mind, guys, from all-time high, Nike is down 42%. And I know everybody's going to say, yeah, but it's consumer discretionary and we're going into a recession. I know, guys, but I'm looking to accumulate positions in solid companies with solid fundamentals when they are at time machine prices, right? When we can look back and say, wow, this is a good discount. I would have to go back a while in time, okay, to get these similar prices. And it's a very solid company. I love Nike as a brand, so I don't mind holding this long term. This is why I'm not nervous when I write aggressive options on it. I actually don't mind holding the shares. A lot of them I will be flipping when we do make it back to 120, 130, but there's a lot of those shares that I will be holding too, okay? Another one that I wanted to look over is Enphase. Enphase, congratulations, guys, if you were in on this one with me. I know it's been a rough past month at this point. I got assigned pretty much at the 180 level, but I had so much premium built into them that I had been writing prior that I really didn't mind being assigned. And at this point, I've been writing covered calls for a better part of the last month. And today we finally got the breakout. I did have some covered calls, so I didn't get the most of this move. However, I did roll them over to next Friday, pocketed some good premium towards the high of the day today. And at this point, we're just going to let it run, right? I do have some long-term Enphase shares that I'm holding. Added a few more, not that much, guys, not that much that I added down here, but I did add some down here. But for the position that we did get assigned, we will now be able to roll out of it successfully with a profit. And if it does continue to run and fill this gap, guys, well, so be it. but your guide is now the daily time frame. When this daily move tops up, you're looking for them to set a higher low compared to our previous low, which is this line down here, 160, and you're looking for them to confirm the continuation of the daily uptrend, which could lead into creating enough space so that maybe on the weekly as well, we get a confirmed weekly uptrend. Have not had a confirmed weekly uptrend, guys, since pretty much all the way back here. It's been now at this point 6 months for end phase down. So really, really good company. If it does pull back, guys, at this point, I will be looking to write options in the 165 to 160 area because we've created so much space that I would be very surprised if we roll over right away, even though we can, because it is a weekly downtrend, keep in mind, right? But I think that this company at this point is good value, good profits. I think they sandbagged their Q2 earnings. I think they will actually be quite bullish. And I just love this company at these prices, right? Really, really good prices. They're last year's prices and all the way through 2021 prices as well. Seems to be really, really good support with the 200-week moving average here. So that's it for another video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, consider liking, consider subscribing to the video. Let me know in the comments if you want me to go over some stocks that I don't go over. Tomorrow, I'll be doing a video. I'll be doing a market recap here, but we're going to go over a lot of stocks that have been kept down or that are down, not artificially, but the Dollar Generals now. Is Dollar General a good value, right? Let's say Estee Lauder. Is Estee Lauder good value at these prices? Nike, like I was saying, Nike as well. So we're going to go over a lot of value stocks, a lot of household brand name stocks that you guys know about that had been performing excessively well over the past 10 years, right? But now are kind of in a rut and are down significantly from all-time highs, right? Are they good to be picking up at these levels? Or should we not be touching them, right? So I will give you my opinions on those tomorrow. I'm going to build a list of all these types of companies, whichever ones you guys like. I'll also be giving you my targets to be writing options on them in case you do want to pick up some of these shares for some cheap prices for the long term, okay? So I love you all. Hope you guys had a great day trading, and I'll see you tomorrow.